16. Not a function of glial cells. Glial cells are situated at the nervous system. In the nervous system, there are two types of cells, neuron cells and glial cells. In the nervous system, two types of cells, neurons and glial cells or neuroglia cells, also known as glial cells, are also known as neuroglia cells. The main function of the nervous system is transmission of impulses, no? So that function is done by the main type of the cell. The transmission of impulses is done by neurons, and those are the healthy cells, like companion cells in the phloem tissue. Like that, glial cells are also helping cells or friends of the neurons. These 1, 2, 3, and 4 functions are describing about the function of glial cells. Therefore, answer number 5 is incorrect. Transmitted impulses is done by neurons. Answer number 5. Not a function of enzymes which are in human saliva. What are the enzymes? Are there enzymes in the human saliva? Yeah. There are 2 enzymes in the human saliva. Human saliva contains 2 enzymes, amylase and lysozyme. Amylase enzyme and lysozyme enzyme we call as salivary amylase or thiolene, also known as thiolene. Lysozyme kill bacteria in the oral cavity or give the protection against bacteria. And salivary amylase normally do the starch digestion of starch is digested into maltose. Okay, by amylase enzyme. Okay, starch is a polysaccharide. No? Polysaccharide is a type of carbohydrate. What are the other 2 types of carbohydrates? Monosaccharide and disaccharides. Okay, here these polysaccharides are digested into disaccharides. Starch is digested into maltose. Answer: carbohydrate digestion, correct. Starch is a carbohydrate. Maltose digestion, maltose is produced by digesting starch. No, so maltose can be further digested. Only the starch is digested in the oral cavity, but maltose can be further digested. Therefore, answer should be number 2. Polysaccharide digestion, correct. Starch is a type of polysaccharide. Starch digestion, yes, provides protection against bacteria that enter the mouth. It is done by the lysozyme enzyme. Answer is number 2. The largest gland of the human body is? Answer is liver. Largest gland is liver. What is the largest organ? Largest organ is skin. Skin is there, no? Skin is the largest organ, but the answer is number 3 because the liver, because the largest gland is liver. 19. Deoxygenated blood is carried by. Can you remember the actually what the structure or organization of a circulatory system in humans? Can you remember the parts of heart, human heart? If this is the heart, there are 4 chambers. Okay, our right side is the left side of heart. This is the right side. These upper chambers are called as atria, See, this is the plural term, but single term is atrium. Atrium. Right atrium, left atrium. Here, these chambers known as ventricle. Okay, left ventricle and right ventricle. Here, the respiratory organs, lungs are present. Those are the lungs. Here, the deoxygenated blood is collected and give oxygenated blood. So, every deoxygenated blood in every regions, both head and leg regions, are carried into the right atrium by vena cava, anterior vena cava. So vena cava carried deoxygenated blood into the right atrium, and the deoxygenated blood then pumped into the right ventricle, and this deoxygenated blood from right ventricle is pumped into the lungs. Okay, lungs, and these deoxygenated blood becomes oxygenated blood, and the pure or the oxygenated blood is then comes into the left atrium and then left ventricle and go whole body. Okay. So in the heart, there are two types of vessels. Two types of vessels, arteries and veins. Arteries and veins. How we can differentiate these arteries and veins? Is this correct? Look at this. Please say, is this correct or right? Okay. Is this correct or incorrect? I say arteries always have oxygenated blood, while veins always have oxygenated blood. Therefore, normally we color arteries in red while veins in blue. Is it correct or not? Incorrect, no? What is the best understanding between arteries and veins? Arteries always carry blood from the heart, and veins always carry blood to the heart, Okay, we can color the right side in blue color. Blue color means deoxygenated. The right side in red color. Red color means oxygenated. That is true, but this is incorrect. Okay, this understanding totally incorrect. But this is correct. This is correct. Take this example. Okay, vena cava carries blood into the right atrium, and this blood pump into the right ventricle, and this blood pump into the lungs through what? Pulmonary artery, right and left pulmonary arteries. Here, this is an artery, but it contains deoxygenated blood. Here, contain deoxygenated blood. No? Therefore, the pulmonary artery carried deoxygenated blood from the heart into the lungs. So, this understanding. Okay. Answer is also pulmonary arteries. It says deoxygenated blood is carried by blood is carried by pulmonary arteries. Pulmonary, cardiac, and hepatic. Have you heard these terms? Pulmonary means it is describing about it relates to the lungs. Okay, lungs. Pulmonary. The term pulmonary is related to the lungs. Cardiac relates to the heart. Okay, cardiac. And hepatic. The term hepatic related to the liver. Okay, here cardiac. You can see the systematic or the aorta. Aorta is divided. At the first, aorta is divided into an artery, which is the cardiac artery, which supplies blood to the heart. Heart means myocardium, heart of the myocardium or heart muscles. Answer is number 1. 20, which has the minimum effect of silicosis. If you have done a deep study on these each systems, easily you can detect the answer. Making or using products containing asbestos. Asbestos relate to asbestosis. Silica relates to silicosis. Therefore, answer is number 2, which is not considered as an internal defense in innate immunity. Answer number 1, mucous membranes. Mucous membranes are external defense. External defenses or barrier defense. External defense, also known as barrier defense in the immune system. Answer number 1. Who excretes by using Malpighian tubules? Who use Malpighian tubules for the excretion? Insects and other terrestrial arthropods. Insects and other terrestrial arthropods. Malpighian tubules. Okay, what about other excretory structures? Flatworms separated by flame cells. These cells looks like a flame. Therefore, for better memorizing, you can draw a flame and color it in a red color or any color related to the flame. And inside this, you can draw a flatworm like planaria. Flatworms are secreted by flame cells. Salt glands. Salt glands, examples, marine birds. Salt glands are used to remove excess salts in their bodies. Therefore, marine birds are always contaminated, always getting excess salts. No, therefore, there is a requirement of salt glands in marine birds. Marine reptiles. Crustacea. Green glands, also known as antennal gland. Okay. For better memorizing, you can highlight this in green color, crustacea, because they are green glands or antennal glands, crustacea. Okay, answer number 5. Cannot be considered as a reason for kidney failure. Answer number 1, alkaline nature. Is alkaline nature forced to produce stones in bladder as well as the kidney. Stones, there are stones. Okay, kidney and bladder. Stones are mainly made up of oxalates, C2O4, calcium oxalate like that, oxalate types. Calcium oxalate like that. As I previously said, if this is the bladder, there may some stones, as well as if this is the kidney, there are also some stones in the kidney. So the reason for these stones are the reason for these stones is the alkaline nature. Therefore, number one, having family history, getting older, high blood pressure, diabetes are reasons for the kidney failure. Cannot be considered as a common disorder on the nervous system. Very easy. Albinism. Albinism is a genetic disorder. No? Therefore, answer is number 5. Cannot be considered as a sensor receptor of the dermis of human skin. You have to think about human skin and human dermis, and also you have to, the very important thing is you have to think about the sensory receptor. Okay, even the particular structure is situated in the dermis, it should the sensory receptor. So answer is sweet glands. Sweet glands are produce sweet. Sweet glands are presented in the located at the dermis, but they are not considered as sensory receptors. Others are considered. Renal endings, Merkel disc, organ of Ruffney, Racinian capsule. Sweet glands presented in the dermis, but does not considered as sensory receptors. Which one is not a function of hormones secreted by anterior pituitary? Can you memorize what are the hypothalamus enzymes, what are the anterior pituitary enzymes, and what are the posterior pituitary, what are the enzymes that secreted or released by the posterior pituitary? Can you easily detect this point? There are hypothalamus and anterior pituitary, posterior pituitary. Okay, very easy. There are two hormones that are released by the posterior pituitary and stored in the posterior pituitary, which are secreted by the hypothalamus. The two hormones are ADH and oxytocin. Okay, oxytocin. Anterior pituitary. These hypothalamus enzymes are control the secretion and releasing of anterior pituitary hormones. There are 7 hypothalamus hormones and 6 anterior pituitary hormones. GHRH, ERH, CRH, GNRH, PRH, PIH, GHRIH. Here, GH, PSH, ACTH, FSH, LH, prolactin. Okay, try to memorize. Here, RH means R means regulate. It is equal to stimulating. Okay, stimulating. And here I is represent the inhibition. Okay. Stimulate secretion of adrenal cortex hormones, correct? Which one is not a function of hormones secreted by anterior pituitary? stimulate secretion of adrenal cortex hormones. It is done by ACTH. Okay. Stimulate secretion of thyroid hormones. Thyroid hormones mean thyroid stimulating hormones. TSH. Stimulate growth and development of ovarian follicle. FSH. Inhibits the secretion of GH and TSH. It is done by this one, GHRIH, which is released and secreted by the hypothalamus. Stimulate milk production is done by prolactin. Answer number 4. Incorrect about Leydig cells. Leydig cells. Okay. Can you remember the structure of male reproductive system? Here, this is the testis and penis, everything, and inside this sac there is a egg-like structure we call it as the testis. Okay. When we consider the cross-section of the testis, we can see there are several compartments. In each compartment, there are highly convoluted tubules we called as seminiferous tubules. When we are taking one tubule, seminiferous tubule, and we take a cross section of this tubule. It looks like this. This is the cross section of seminiferous tubule, and here the connective tissue is present. Connective tissue means inside the testis, this region. Okay, this is the connective tissue. There are two types of specified cells regarding these testes, which are secreted to hormones. Hormones are testosterone and other androgens. Other one is inhibin. Okay. The two types of cells are Leydig cells and Sertoli cells. Okay. How you can memorize Leydig cells produce testosterone and Sertoli cells inhibin. There is a small trick. Think about a lady. In Sri Lanka, majority of females attract males. Okay, majority of the world, males attract female and females attract males. Females means lady. Lady. The most popular male hormone is testosterone. This testosterone is secreted by Leydig cells or ladies. But ladies are outside, that means Leydig cells are outside to the seminiferous tubule. Okay, they are located at the connective tissue outside of the seminiferous tubule. Inside the seminiferous tubule, there is a type of cells we call it as, those are the Leydig cells. Those are the Sertoli cells which secretes inhibin hormone, and Leydig cells secretes testosterone and other androgens. Incorrect about Leydig cells. Containing in the testis, correct. They all are containing in the testis, but inside the seminiferous tubule, we can see the Sertoli cells. Leydig cells are located at the connective tissue of the testis, but not inside the Sertoli cells. Contain the testis here, contain the seminiferous tubule. Contain in the seminiferous tubule, no. Those are the Sertoli cells. Produce testosterone, yes. Testosterone and other androgens are produced by Leydig cells. Production of androgens, yes. Never produce inhibin, yeah. Inhibin is secreted by Sertoli cells. Incorrect pair of bones in lower limb. Answer is number 5, metatarsal bones. Metatarsal bones, bones of knee. It should not knee, it should bones of foot. It should not knee, it should bones. It should foot, okay? 29. Not a cranial bone in humans. Answer, zygomatic bones. Zygomatic bones are facial bones. The most important cation in the sliding filament theory in muscle contraction. When we are talking about the muscle contraction, the sliding filament theory is very important. It describes about actin and myosin proteins, myosin heads, and how the muscle is contracted and how the muscle is relaxed. Uh, uh, Actually, we are talking about the sarcomere. Anyway, what is the most important ions in the sliding filament theory? Calcium 2 plus. Okay, calcium 2 plus is the most important ion in sliding filament theory, which describes the contraction of a muscle. Inheritance 31. Inheritance of a phenotype. What is the most suitable term? Okay, description is there. Inheritance of a phenotype. Inheritance of a phenotype such as quantitative characters, height, skin color, intelligence like that, which results from a cumulative expression of 2 or more genes is called what? Epigenic inheritance. Epigenic inheritance, answer is number 3. Incorrect statement about artificial selection. Okay. Have you heard about the artificial selection? Have you heard? In my classes, lesson number 6 or genetics, I categorized the lesson 6 or genetics into 4 parts. Okay, Mendelian inheritance, non-Mendelian inheritance, population inheritance, population genetics, and finally breeding. Under the breeding, we are talking about the artificial selection. Selection means selection. Okay, have you heard about the natural selection in your lesson number 3? Diversity. Natural selection means the organisms are selected naturally. Okay, organisms are naturally selected. But here in the artificial selection, human involvement is there for getting the better daughter or the better generation or better high quality offsprings from previously selected parents. Okay, that is the artificial selection. Okay, incorrect statement about artificial selection. Most adapted species are remained in the environment and others are destroyed. This describes the natural selection. The selection is done by the environment or nature, okay, or universe. Here, the selection is done by humans. It is a breeding technique. Yeah, it is the earliest form of biotechnology. Yeah. It is caused significant improvements in the agriculture and farming. Correct. Incorrect about genes. Okay, can you remember genetic lesson? Can you differentiate the terms genes and alleles, traits and characters? Normally, characters are controlled by genes. Traits are controlled by alleles. Okay, character Okay, how we can differentiate the genes and traits? Genes are controlled the characters while alleles are controlled traits. Genes are a fragment of DNA. If this is the chromosome, inside this there is a DNA. When we consider a small fraction of DNA, it looks like this. Okay, a very small region, a small specific region we call it as genes. Okay, genes are DNA. DNA is made up of nucleotides. Which nucleotides? Ribonucleotides or deoxyribonucleotides? Deoxyribonucleotides. Therefore, genes are made up of deoxyribonucleotides. 1. Characters are controlled by genes and traits are controlled by alleles. Correct. A gene is okay. Take an example. Characters. If the eye color is the character, varieties are called the traits. No, therefore, blue eyes, yellow eyes, brown eyes are traits. Okay. A gene is composed of a segment of DNA on a specific site on a chromosome. It is the fundamental and functional unit of genetics. The most suitable term is not genetic, it should heredity. It is the genes are the fundamental and functional unit of heredity. Composed of ribonucleotides, not ribonucleotides, it should deoxyribonucleotides. Therefore, answer is number 4. Gene specifies the sequence of DNA. Yeah. 34. Theory. Not a major step of DNA isolation. Answer is number 4. Synthesis of DNA. Others are major steps. DNA replication, DNA's inhibition, removal of contaminating materials, dissociation of nucleoprotein complexes. Cannot be considered as a forest of terrestrial ecosystem in Sri Lanka. Terrestrial ecosystems. In Sri Lanka can be divided into two, forest and grasslands. Here, answer number 1, savanna. Savanna is not a forest, not considered as a forest. It should be savanna, and other one is patana. Savanna and patana are the grasslands. Thrown lowland rainforest, dry monsoon forest, montane forest are type of forest. Legume. Legume is a species of. Actually, there are two another examples with legume. Legume, dodo, mammoth. Mammoth means woolly mammoth. These three examples are extinct species. Extinct, not extinct in the wild, endemic, flagship, alien. They are the extinct species. Not a characteristic of pathogenic microorganisms. Pathogenic microorganisms. Not a characteristic of pathogenic microorganisms. Produce toxins. Yeah, they produce toxins. They are endotoxins and exotoxins. Having enzymes for pathogenicity. They have enzyme. It's correct, but they have enzyme. They haven't enzymes for pathogenicity. These enzymes are related to the term invasiveness. Okay, invasiveness. Okay, it should not the pathogenicity. It should the invasiveness. There are three enzymes we are talking about. Phospholipase actually. Phospholipase, lecithinase, hyaluronidase. Phospholipase, lecithinase and hyaluronidase. having enzymes to alter the host's metabolic processes like DNA enzymes, having a structure to adhere to the host cells, having structures to adhere the host cells and protect against host defense mechanisms like capsule, villi, okay? Having optimal growth condition that corresponds to the body conditions of the host, like temperature. Answer is number 2. It should not the pathogenicity, it should the invasiveness. Not a microbe that cause diseases in a digestive system. Think about the particular disease. Vibrio cholerae, it causes cholera. Mycobacterium tuberculosis, it causes tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is a type related to the tuberculosis is a disease which is related with the respiratory system. Therefore, answer is number 2. Salmonella type causes typhoid fever. Hepatitis A virus causes hepatitis. Staphylococcus aureus causes food poisoning. Answer is number 2. Which statement does not describe a fortnightly routine of an home aquarium? Home aquarium. Aquarium, what do you mean by an aquarium? Simply we can say a small jar. Jam container like that. Jam container, our home fish tank and large aerial containers. Fish containers all are considered as an aquarium. What are the fortnightly? That means 2 weeks routine of an home aquarium. Check the terminals of light source. Monthly now. Scrape excess algal growth. Clean the rooting medium. Clean the rooting medium means rake or stir up gently the surface of the rooting medium. Break the small stones at the bottom. Change water. Small stones are considered as the rooting medium. Answer is number 1. Causing agent of filariasis. Filariasis, what is the common name in Sri Lanka for filariasis? Barava. Okay, common name is Barava. It is transmitted by mosquitoes like dengue, but the causing agent of dengue is virus. But here, filariasis, the causing agent is a nematode. Okay. Or round bone. What is this scientific name? Wuchereria bancrofti. Wuchereria bancrofti. This is the causing agent. The vector is a mosquito type of Culex species. The definitive host is human. Definitive host is human. Okay. Who contributes the nitrification? What do you mean by the nitrification? Nitrification is converting ammonium ions to NO3 minus nitrate ions. In the step 1, we make 4 plus into NO2 minus nitro vector. The second step, NO2 minus into NO3 minus nitrosomonas into nitro vector. Okay. Answer A and B. Answer number 3. A, B, D, now 1. If A, B, D, 1. A, C, D, 2. A, B, 3. C, D, 4. Others, no. Others, number 5. 42. Incorrect about DNA replication. SSB are single strand binding proteins. Yes, correct. Produce 2 copies are identical to each other. Correct. Even enzymes are contributed in the eukaryotic DNA replication. Enzymes are never involved in the DNA replication. In both eukaryotic and prokaryotic DNA replication, DNA are involved. Okay, enzymes are involved. Therefore, C incorrect. Topoisomerase enzymes are working ahead of the direction of DNA synthesis. Correct. Stabilizing of single strands is done by SSB proteins. Correct. Answer is number 5. Not the phase or phases of action potential. There are 3 phases in action potential: depolarization, repolarization, and hyperpolarization. A, B, D describes the phases of the action potential. I asked not the phase or phases of action potential. Therefore, answer should be number C and E. Therefore, answer is number 5. Which can be considered as a respiratory pigment in humans. As we previously discussed, there are 2 respiratory pigments in human, hemoglobin and myoglobin, A and E. Again, answer is number 5. Hemocyanin. Hemocyanin, who have the hemocyanin respiratory pigments? Arthropods and mollusks. Arthropods and mollusks. Chlorochlorine, annelids. Hemoerythrin, marine invertebrates, and some annelids. 45. Which represents domain archibacteria? There are 3 examples: Thermococcus, Methanococcus, and Halobacteria. A, C, and D. That means answer should be number 2. The Salmonella typhi and Escherichia coli are bacteria which are not included in the domain archaea. They are included into the domain bacteria. Therefore, answer is C. Which is or which are the secreted cations in urine production? We have to consider only H plus and K plus. Therefore, answer should be number 3. Even NH4 plus is produced. Is not considered as a secreted cation. Okay, even NH4 plus is produced by NH3 and H plus. We can consider this one as a secretory cation, but this cannot be considered. Which contribute to take the BMI scale? How we can take the BMI scale? Height of the body, mass of the body is divided by the square of height. That means kilogram over square meter. Answer is A and C, body mass and body height. Body volume incorrect, body metabolic rate incorrect, blood glucose concentration incorrect. 44, 5, 45, 2, 46, 3, 47, 5. Incorrect about euglena. Euglena is, the shape is like this. First statement says contractile vacuole present in euglena. Yes, contractile vacuoles present. Photosynthetic, yeah. They have photosynthetic pigments. C, cell wall present. No, they haven't a cell wall, but pellicula is present. D, cilia present, not cilia. It should flagella, one or two flagella present. Therefore, incorrect. Photoautotropic or heterotrophic nutrient. Yeah, is correct. Incorrect about euglena. Therefore, C and D. Answer number 4. Cannot be considered as a function or functions of peroxisomes. Peroxisomes, detoxification of peroxides, and other one is photorespiration. Photorespiration in C3 plants. Therefore, answer is again C and D. Answer number 4. Detoxification of peroxides, water respiration in plants, C3 plants. A and B. Digestion of aged organelles and self-death of cell death by self-digestion. It is done by lysosome. Okay. Metabolism of carbohydrate is a function of SER, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Answer is number 4, C and D. Not a location of simple cuboidal epithelium. Simple cuboidal epithelium is located at what? Where? Kidney tubules, thyroid glands, salivary glands. A, B, and D. In intestinal lining, simple columnar epithelium. In the mouth lining, stratified squamous epithelium. Therefore, answer is number 1. Not a location. Sorry, it should not 1. Not a location of simple cuboidal epithelium. Therefore, C and E. 5. Kidney tubules, thyroid gland, and salivary gland have simple cuboidal epithelium. Intestinal lining and mouth lining have it. Therefore, answer should be number 5. Okay, we have discussed 1 to 15. So please count your MCQs and let me know. Thank you.